afternoon. This is the area behind the fence. These are baby. These are shampoo ginger babies. This is we're still growing even though we're in this is a yucca. This, as you can see, is the pine cone that they have that you can squeeze that and it's like shampoo. That's why they're called shampoo ginger. Some of them are doing really well. We still got green, and we got a brand new one coming up right there. You can tell that bright red color. That's very healthy. Now, the pine cones are out of season as far as their ability to make. And I mean, you can use it as shampoo, but what they call shampoo, they're out of season. These, hello, Gemini. It's so good to see you. So these ones that are brown, we'll be cutting. This is Gemini. I'm behind the fence. This is the area where I just randomly grow stuff in the ground. These, I think, are bird of paradise. They're babies. When you cut back, the bears eat them. And they, as long as the root ball is intact, they come back. So I need to come through and trim all this. Yeah, this is, we are behind the, we are in the woods. We are behind the tree. So this is where I plant things. This looks like another bird of paradise. So, as you can see, it needs, turn the camera back the other way, it needs a lot of work. This is the woods. We might go this way for a minute. Eventually you'll get to houses, so we aren't going back too far. But yeah, we are in the woods. I'm in flip-flops, so I'm in shorts and flip-flops, so I probably won't go too far. It's still warm enough. It's funny, it's November. It's still warm enough. We got mosquitoes like crazy. So we may have to get repellent. Yeah, you do have, this time of year isn't as bad as summer, but you do have to worry about snakes and things. Where those pom-poms are and there's pine needles, they will make, snakes will make nests. So this time of year is not quite as bad. These are, show you how tall some of these oaks and pines are. No, we don't want to be bitten up by the mosquitoes or the snakes. Yeah, we don't want that. As you can see, you got vines and things. Looks like a Tarzan movie. Some of my followers, I think, are from other countries where they don't have. I'm sure they have some woods, and I don't know if they live in the cities, but some places where they don't have like woods like this. I think some of my followers are not familiar with the woods at all. And I don't do a survival channel. Like there are people who do survival channels. So if anybody's interested in that thing, there are people who do that. We are right behind where I have the rubber trees. Oh, a cranberry hibiscus just happened to, there's no way. How'd they get, okay, if you throw dirt, there's a sago palm. Yeah, if you throw dirt on the other side of the fence, sometimes there are roots and things, and sometimes things will sprout. So we just happen to have a random cranberry hibiscus behind the fence. That's an old pallet. We need to come through here with the weed eater. We need to clear all this out. Now this is super dangerous. This is a piece of fence. It don't look dangerous, but if you work with fence, you know, be very careful. This is, the ends are sharp like razors and will cut you. Luckily, my kids listened good, and I told them, you know, when they were little and helping me with the garden, I told them, you know, don't touch that. But like these are the cages I use to keep squirrels out. In the spring, they'll come back. I threw them on the other side of the fence. Pretty durable. They handle being thrown on the other side of the fence. And so, as you can see right here, I need to come in with a staple gun because they can That don't look like much, but birds and squirrels can get in that. So I'll have to either rebuild them or refortify them come spring. So the whole point is to come over here. We're too close to the fence. We need to move this stuff back. So yeah, if anybody's joining us, feel free to write down in the chat. I'm not doing anything at the table today, I don't think. So you won't see me for a minute, but here in a minute, I'll have the camera set up. Right now it's in my hand, so we're doing everything one-handed. What we're trying to do is clear this so that so that it don't look as bad. Yes, staple, I got one, and yes, staple so that they can't. Now on this side, it's pretty, that's firm. They ain't getting in there. You can see the staples right there. But yeah, that's, you plant seeds and then you put that on top of it. It's big enough for 2 trays. And so, yeah. So if you do this kind of thing, like on this side is straight, but on this side, every one of them right there will cut you like a razor blade. So if you work with fence, if you get fence, if you're using it like as fence, which I will this year, or if you're using it like for this, be very careful with kids or with, even yourself. Because like when I touch it, I know. So I learned the hard way. And that was another thing that was helpful when the kids were little, is if I cut myself and I showed them, then they know. I don't know if that's what recommended to do with kids, but yeah, if you get cut and you show them, yeah, that'll cut you. Here we have again. You can see the staples right there. Yeah, this one's a little taller, so taller plants can go in this one. Yeah, we just want it to where if people look out here, they don't see. We don't. So that it's not directly behind the fence. Now there, blackberry, the bears got them this year. If the bears get them before there's blackberry, wild blackberries all through here. You can see the plants, all these vines through here. Those are blackberries. So hopefully, and there's another kind of area where you gotta worry about snakes. What is window screen? Oh wait, you use window screen to keep out animals? That would probably work. Oh, but can rain go through? We want rain to go through the. I don't know if rain can go through a water screen. I guess it can, but that's why I use fence. And you got to get like the 1/4 inch. You got to make sure your holes are small enough, like this, so that animals can't get through. Rain can get through the screens? Okay. Window screens. Okay, rain can go through a window screen? Okay, then that might be what I use in the future. Because we want that rain and the sun and everything. We're going back through this. I'm in flip-flops, but I do not recommend doing this in flip-flops. Here's that one from earlier. Yeah, and even what I just did, when you grab that, if you don't know what you're doing, you grab that, every one of those on the end where I cut them. I cut them with pliers or you can use like not bolt cutters. I don't know what they call it. It's like a bolt cutter, but it's smaller. It might be called a wire cutter. It looks like you can use a needle nose plier. There's at the base where it's sharp, and that's actually one of the tools I use. And so all the all the pins that I cut, wherever I cut it, that's where it's sharp. So this is the area where I planted some things. I had another Canis Indica. This year I did not plant here because I was too busy with work. But tomato plants go here, peanut plants go here. This one Canis Indica don't look good. Yeah, that's a whole nother property next to us. In fact, that where I was talking about planting, that's why somebody's going through and destroying that. They're cutting it down because I think both of these Canis all cut. You cut them and they'll come back in the spring. They both don't look healthy enough to keep. They'll come back in the spring. So we'll probably cut both of them. Everything needs water. Some of it looks healthier than others. These do not have, they don't look like they're gonna make fruit this year, but the ones in the back, these are papaya trees right here. It looks like we got 6 people. These are the arrowheads I did. I put them in front to make it look better. And then those are Croton. Those are Croton Petra, and these are Croton. So what the actual project is, we got a part where we're clearing. So this will probably be boring because this is not necessarily plants related. Well, it kind of is. All of it is kind of plant related. But we'll never be ready for spring if we don't. All this should have been done by the second half of September. But, that loquat tree is growing tall. It could be rooted. If it's rooted, we're going to need to move it in a 50-gallon pot. And I don't want to do that because that's when they get heavy. They can start to weigh over 100 pounds and into 200 pounds real quick. So this is part of what we're going to have to do is reorganize this. It won't be near as big. The aloe is going to go on that side. But this area we're clearing, almost got it done. I've been working on it. I'm going to have to get the weed eater out. This is the actual area. There are lizards all over the place. I don't know if you can see them. I don't know how good this camera is. But there are lizards. We'll probably see a lot of lizards. But yeah, this whole area we got to clear, which... And a lot of people don't know this, but you learn it, you figure it out. I don't want to do the shampoo ginger on this side until I have dirt, because I'm going to be doing root separation. I don't have enough dirt. But we're not going to have anywhere to put those pots unless we do this. So that means pulling all these out and breaking and leaf blowing and weed eating, all of this. That's part of what happens when you don't do anything for 2 years, when you abandon it for 2 years. This is part of, if it were summer, I'd be really worried about snakes. I'm not as worried about snakes. But as you can imagine, what could be hiding? But see, with the amount of leaves, we got a rake and leaf blow and weed eater. So it is going to be boring. This will be a boring one. Because it's not as fun as working with the plants itself. But we gotta clear this out. Because if you don't, then you have nowhere to put what you move. I don't know if that's like a life lesson you learn when you're older or what that is, but yeah, one thing at a time. Yeah, they're always, and it's not like it's too big of a farm, but for one person, yeah, it's always. What I do is I just look at it as there's always like 400 hours of work, and you can't do 400 hours of work right this second. So all you can do is what you can do, one thing at a time. I was clearing out this area and cleaned this morning, that whole area. Yeah, we're in the middle of, well, I won't go into all the details, but we're in the middle of people moving in, and as a result, everything's getting shoved into certain areas, and then I gotta come through. And if something hasn't been cleaned in like a year, like that, the whole house is like that at the moment. Things are being put everywhere, so when they're gone, I get to work. This one's still leaning. I don't like the way it's leaning. That's one of the product trees that should have fruit this year. As you can see, we got the beginning of total probably 6 or 8 papayas. I don't know. They're growing so slow. They may, as long as they make it through the winter, they may have food in spring. Sometimes, well, they do better when it's hotter. So sometimes they get started with the fruit when it's summer, but they take so long to make fruit. The fruit's actually a lot of times ready in the winter. But instead, it's winter and it's getting ready to get started. So as long as it handles the winter. So this is this. So we're gonna pull everything out first and weed eat. That's part of. This is the thing I built. That's what holds my phone. I put those, I'm sure they make ones. They make tripods and stuff, but I ain't got the money for all that. One year when they were doing family pictures, it came in real handy. I originally built it so my kids could, let's see. It's facing the wrong way. Yeah, that'll work. So this is everything I'm moving out. Hopefully we don't run into any snakes. These are bamboo rods that I use for to stake up plants. If you don't have bamboo, I don't know what you're doing. Oh, real quick, before we continue, let me show you the amazing build. These are the green onions that they were the end pieces and they're already growing quite a bit. All that green is new. They grow new, and then when you cut the green onion off it'll just regrow again. And I heard you can do that with lettuce. And these are different sizes. You want to use different sizes when you do this, because some of the tomato plants, of course, they'll just need one like this, and some will need bigger ones. Like this piece of bamboo, this is like if you're gonna stick up like a whole, like a tree or a big piece of bamboo. This is a bigger one here. So far, no snakes, no scorpions. If I get bit by a scorpion, you'll hear it. These are those are for putting the new plants. So all this cleaning right now is to get ready for spring. What we have here, for example, there's in this bucket, there's a whole bunch of little ones like that. And these little ones are important. I like these because they're 1.5. 1.5 come in real handy. I'd like a lot of 2. I'm probably gonna have to get, if they start selling better this year, I might have to get more pots. But as of right this second, we're doing good. Here's some kind of string or rope or something. I don't remember ever having this. But there's also pieces of metal here. If you're doing this with a weed eater, you can wreck your weed eater if you're not careful. This kind come in real handy because once you get the things like green beans and herbs and different things like basil or mint, these size come in real handy. These are tomato caners, but I usually don't end up using them. I might sell them. That's one right there. And these are a little bit bigger than 3 gallon. These are like 5 gallon. So they come in real handy. Having different sizes helps a lot. So now I'll take the phone. Yeah, Christmas. Yeah, exactly. So this is what it looks like now. Haven't got too much progress. This is everything I pulled out and away. So it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a lot of progress, but I just pulled all that out. That shows you as we get ready to weed eat. That shows you how much stuff was there. All this was there. This cart is interesting because it's kind of like a wheelbarrow, but it's got 2 wheels, and it's not quite a wheelbarrow. My mom, before she passed away, that was her cart. Yeah, there's always a lot of work. Yeah, there's always, because every area is going to be something. So if you try to do this work, that's why you're supposed to have it done by a certain time, because if you try to do this work while spring is going on, you've got too much going on with plants. So this year it'll be more exciting with plants. There'll be more going on because this year I started, and then this coming up year is where it's really gonna get going again. And yeah, if you try to do this kind of work, if you try to do this kind of work while you're doing plants, it's just too much. So it actually works great, even though I'm still way behind. Here's another. These are, I believe, 2-gallons. Yeah, having different sizes is very, very, very good because customers. Yeah, these are 2 gallons. Yeah, what happens is like if you got a 1 gallon and a 2 gallon, if you move up from the half-gallon, you can go into the 2 gallon instead. They look bigger. If you put them next to a 1 gallon, I mean, they are bigger, but what it does is it gives you like they see that it's bigger. So having the different sizes. Also, there's different dimensions. Like there's 1 gallons that are more shallow, so different plants have different roots. So there could be something that's a 1 gallon, but it's more shallow, so it's wider. So it'll trick. I heard something moving in there. I don't know what it was. Something was alive in there. Oh, there's a lizard in there. I don't know if you see him. This was a bird's nest. There's a lizard. You can see him. His name will be Samuel. Yeah, it's a good car. The thing is that there's I just put that upside down. I don't know if that lizard can get out. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting car. Because of the wheel wells here, you can't. It doesn't have holes in it, so I mean that's a good thing. You could put dirt in it, but if you and I have put dirt in it, but the problem is I got dirt from somebody I don't like. You can buy dirt from the I think they call it square foot. Is it square foot? I think you could buy it by the square foot. What they do is they just load a truck. Somebody dumped. They were trying to be helpful, but they dumped. I don't know how much it was. It was like a small dump truck. Well, they call it a dump truck. It's not as big as like when you think of like an actual dump truck, but it's still, let's just say a pile of dirt about as big as a car. And the problem is that car did come kind of handy, but then when you go to dump it out, it doesn't work as good as a wheelbarrow for dumping it out. You can do this, but you kind of got to actually pick the whole thing up. Yeah, there was, when I first started, there was a bunch of lizards here. I don't see where they all went. I'm starting to feel rain, so we might have rain, which won't stop us as long as it's a little bit of rain. I'm gonna go back to 2 hands, but this gives you an idea. Yeah, we definitely need rain. This year we've actually got really good rain. And then on top of getting good rain, the rain was off and on constant this year, and it actually kept the temperature a little bit too low for growing certain things. I just realized I was supposed to clear that other area first, so I have a place to put these. No? Oh well. This is a square one. It looks like it's broke. Yeah, it's broke, so it's trash. But this square one is interesting. That gives you another size or dimension. It looks broke. you're just joining, we're clearing an area to use a weed eater. There's two of those square ones. The square ones are a different size. Okay. So now we have, this is what the area looks like. And this thing we pulled out. So all that's going to have to go over here. So we need to pull all this out and rake and weed eat and leaf blow that area. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you. So now we weed eater. And we gotta stop at some point to get food. I cleaned this porch floor the other day. It looks very good. It's got a little dirt again, so I do need to sweep it again. But it looks a lot better than I expected. Yeah, I do have water. Yep. Thank you. You looking out for me? Yeah, I do have water. It's not that hot. If I have to guess, I'd say late 80s, high 80s. Yeah, if you just joined, we are watching this lizard. We just did weed eater this area and pulled everything out. This was everything that was right here. Some of those are tall. You can see I might have to just rip them right out of the ground because they're tall. This weed eater doesn't handle. Oh, you broke. No, we want it. Is there root? That looks like root blocker. Did someone put root blocker here before I did this? Oh, there's root blocker here. This is a hole. It grew through the root blocker. Yeah. Oh, basically, okay, that's underneath the root blocker. That's why I can't pull that. I can go underneath it. Okay, roots aren't connected anymore. Okay, that's crazy. Root blocker is supposed to be, this is crazy that there's root blocker here. Root blocker is basically like, kind of like a sheet of plastic that's supposed to stop plants from growing. So you're blocking your weeds so you can grow plants or you can do whatever it is with your gardening. So you're blocking the weeds. And the fact that weed blocker here is crazy because, of course, you're not supposed to have, for grass to be able to grow through the root blocker is pretty crazy. So, yeah. Hello, Phoenix. So that's, we are now raining. So we're going to get the weed eater is the one thing that has to be. Oh yeah, we're raining pretty good. That means getting food might involve the car. We may not walk to get food. I'm glad I got done what I done before the rain. Now to move the rest of that, it's funny that all that fit in there. The amount of lizards and frogs that got moved. I didn't capture all of it good on video. Here's that lizard again. We named the other one Samuel, so we might name this one Thomas. He don't want to move. There he is. Yeah, the mosquitoes are absolutely horrible. Yes. So I cleared this area. This is a green onion, and I will probably go ahead and end the live and worry about lunch.